How's it going, everybody? Yesterday, or a few hours ago at least, the Season 4 patch note has been released. And I want to go over it because we want to be ready. We want to know everything there is to know so that tomorrow, when the patch comes out, we are ready. You know, we are ready. So let's get right into it. I'm going to start with the universal changes, then I'm going to go in the character of the order of the character out of it, and we're just going to go through everything. And I'm going to put timestamp and everything so that you can just go look at your character. But anyway, let's get started right into it. So first of all, these are like the whatever, these are like the musics, these are like the we don't care about. New background music. Get over nightmares. Sin vs. Sky theme. We're getting our first matchup exclusive theme, which is it's super cool, right? It's always cool to see these kind of things that are just like, you know that Daisuke did this because just out of love for the game. And we hope that there's many more to come. But at the end of the day, it's like each theme takes a while to produce and we get it. So like, yo, if more of these come out, it's gonna be awesome. But yeah, first matchup specific theme. That's awesome. Let's get right into everything. First of all, they added a glossary here, which is just terminology and everything, so that those of you who don't know what's happening can now know what's happening. But these are all information that are already on the wiki if you look it up, such as, by the wiki I mean go look it up on Dust Loop and everything. Guts rating, they talk about what guts mean, defensive value modifier, what wall breaks happen, like grounded wall breaks that are referred to as wall slumps, where your opponent kind of stays on the ground for longer and doesn't get to tech, and high wall breaks and whatever, an attack level and all that thing, all those things. Interesting thing to note right here right away is that Dizzy has a guts rating of 5, which is the highest it's ever been. Dizzy has been historically a weak character, kind of glass cannon character, but they gave her very high guts. But if you look at her trailer, it doesn't seem like she has the highest mix-up potential, so she'd be kind of zoning, kind of activating those wings, and just trying to survive, and keep your opponent blocking or blocking your opponent's mix-up so that the wings end up activating. But anyway, I want to talk about the guts a little bit, just so, like, because these numbers don't really mean anything if you don't know what guts do. So I'm gonna open the page right here. I'm just gonna draw a health bar. Imagine this is the entire health bar. What guts mean is that below 70% health, let's say 70% is right here, each 10% of the remaining health, so this is 60, this is 50, 40, 30, 20, and 10. At each milestone, you could say, of 10% health, you get an increased damage reduction. So, depending on your guts level, the damage reduction formula is something like plus 1% damage reduction to the power of your guts, I think. So, let's say your guts is 1, then it'd be 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%. But it kind of scales up, right? I don't know the exact formula, but the idea is that's why sometimes it feels like when your opponent's health is around maybe this level, it feels a lot bigger. That's because between 30 and 20 guts, if you look at like the website, you can see that a character with, let's say, guts amount level 3 would take 2/3 of the damage, as opposed to here where he take 3/3 or 100% of the damage. A character with an even higher guts level, like let's say level 5, which is the highest guts level, here they take only half of the damage. And this also has the pretty unique property that if you hit an opponent like as his health is right here, the first attack won't kind of carry over once it reaches this area, right? In other words, an attack that hits right here will do 100% of its damage at the guts threshold, which is above 50% health, which is 90% damage approximately, depending on your guts level. But if you hit right here, it's already gonna be reduced to 80% damage, depending on your guts level. So a big hit from here could take your opponent down like all the way here, but a big hit from here might like only bring your opponent down to like this health. Which means that sometimes it can be like a downside to have slightly higher health, because the next big attack, if it's like one big hit that does a lot of damage, it might deal more damage. Anyway, just go look it up on Dustloop. Go look it up on Dustloop if you want all this information. But basically, that's why like the health bar seems kind of skewed. And if you were to like draw the real health bar, you could say that like at each sector, like the first 30% might look like this, then the next 10% might be a bit bigger, then the next 10% even more big, and even bigger, and even bigger, and each like remaining 10% is like more health per health, because you get a damage reduction of the health. Anyway, that's guts waiting for you. Let's get ready to. Overall changes, game mechanics changes, there's actually nothing new this patch, which is kind of surprising. I made this speculation that it would try to maybe rearrange how you get meter. Maybe they would do something such as above 50 meter, you gain meter faster, so that if you're right above 50 meter, you're kind of incentivized to not just go for a 50 meter neutral skip option, but rather keep your meter because you then start getting more meters or like whatever. But no, they actually didn't do anything. They simply fixed issues with wall stick, where you could sometimes cross up your opponent with a wall stick on the wall, or where you would Roman cancel, you would sometimes get the wrong direction, or whatever. They just fixed something. But yeah, like they talk about briefly here how they're like uniforming some changes, but we're gonna go over them in the character specific changes. Let's go, let's get right into it. Oh my god, I'm so excited. There's so much to go over. I'm not gonna read this whole paragraph at the top of each character. We're just gonna go over every individual change, and then I'm gonna give my thoughts on it, which will kind of go over everything, but in fewer words. So Soul Badguy, right away. A decreased defense modifier. So Soul Badguy will take more damage. 6p has increased recovery and no longer launches on grounded counter hit. Some 6ps in the game still launch on just ungrounded hit in general, and some 6ps in the game only used to launch on grounded counter hit, and now Soul Badguy 6p falls into the category of those that's no longer launch at all, whether counter hit or not. And it doesn't really affect him that much. It just makes 6p a little bit more cheap, you could say, because Soul Badguy doesn't have the biggest 6p that you kind of use as a poke or use in combo strings. You kind of only use it as an anti-air. And so it just makes it so a random 6p that would maybe be used to low profile through a projectile will no longer just kill your opponent and give you a hard knockout on it. So Standing K is getting reworked. Standing K is no longer a 3-frame startup move. They don't specifically say the frame data on it now, but I believe if you look at the Season 4 kind of reveal trailer for the patch note, you might be able to go look through it frame by frame and see if it's maybe 4 or 5 frame now. But basically the first hit is no longer a 3-frame reversal, or 3-frame startup move, and the second hit has increased attack level. It won't counter hit, but it will give slightly higher reward, and it also has an expanded hitbox and hurtbox, meaning it will reach slightly further, but you can't use it as a disjoint. You also get hit from slightly further away. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see. Slower startup will mean maybe some counter combo routing will slightly change, but also just no longer having a 3-frame move on Soul is very significant. Yeah, just being able to A.B.A with the 3-frame move is really nice. Being able to mash with a 3-frame move is really nice, but now you can no longer do that. Moving on. 6S, increased recovery. So 6S is getting slightly nerfed. But there, ooh, look at this blowback adjustment. Made a slight adjustment to the opponent falling speed in line with the new clean hit on the Fafnir. What? Oh my god, we're gonna look at it when we go over Fafnir, but what? We're gonna clean hit Fafnir, that's crazy. But yes, this is slightly nerfed, just slightly higher recovery. It seems like every patch they've kind of nerfed the move a little bit. Back in Season 2, it would launch on counter hit or launch on normal hit even, and you'd get 5k 6s bandit, 5k 6s bandit, it'd be crazy. Now it no longer launches on normal hit, and now it no longer combos from a normal 5k. Whatever. It's nerfed, but it's a probably needed nerf, considering it's a pretty good move, and maybe in combos it will have to be routed differently because increased recovery. Well, maybe you can't special cancel out of it faster. I don't know. Increased recovery shouldn't bother that much in combos. Sending heavy. Decreased blowback overall. So, if you guys can imagine it in your head right now, decreased heavy on Soul just means You know how like there's this certain screen position where you can go 5-8 for soul and your opponent would tumble on the ground but then ground bounce and then hit the wall and then get a wall bounce, and you'd be able to wall splat from so far away because a random 5H after a bandit whiff would carry your opponent all the way to the corner, and then they'd hit the corner slightly, like kind of just tumble into the corner and get a massive wall bounce from it just because 5H uses wall bounce. This is going to be reduced, so like going for such a route at a very high distance will be nerfed. So you'd have to be slightly closer to the wall to initiate a wall bounce combo, which is good because it was pretty messed up and also relatively inconsistent. And at a mid to low level, you'd have to like, there's no way you would know from the background of every stage, because you switch stage every game, which distance you were exactly from the wall. So it's just more consistent but slightly weaker. Also reduced blowback on jump dust, which is the same idea. Slightly harder to combo from far away from the wall, but for a different reason. Just less knockback on jump dust as opposed to the weird property Heavy Slash had of like ground bouncing into a wall bounce right after. So that's just a small nerf, but we move on. Gunflame. Decreased damage for the later active frames, meaning the initial Gunflame hits just as hard, but the projectile itself, when it reaches further away from soul, when you just use it as a projectile, right, it's gonna deal slightly less damage, which is just fine, right? This means it's a weaker projectile, but you can still use it in combos in the wall, such as like Close Slash Gunflame, 5k Bandit, 5k 6S Gunflame, whatever, right? And then DP, you just have an extended hitbox. Yeah, expanded hitbox, yeah. Makes it slightly more consistent to hit opponents that were wall stick very high on the wall. So you no longer just have to use 2H if your opponent is stick high, or use jump dust. You can use DP because it will reach slightly higher up. SDP can no longer be cancelled into super, meaning you can no longer kind of like cancel, kind of like how in Street Fighter 6 when you're still grounded during a DP, you can cancel into super. Now you can no longer do that. And heavy DP, clean hits now instantly wall splats. Similar to previously, the only character in the game that could do that was Slayer with his Pile Bunker. Pile Bunker from Slayer just wall splats in one hit no matter the wall health. Heavy DP now wall splats when you get a clean hit no matter the wall health, which will lower Soul's damage at the wall or require him to route differently. There won't be as many combos where you go for 2 or 3 clean hit DPs, because the first one that sticks your opponent on the wall will automatically wall splat. Bandit Revolver has increased recovery where you only go for Bandit first hit, like Bandit with no Revolver, which will mean, yeah, combo routing might be a bit different, and yeah, maybe in neutral you won't be able to use it kind of in neutral skip anymore. If you guys didn't know, after a hard knockdown you can kind of just go Bandit 1 into a command grab, which is pretty messed up. It's like, yo, like, bro, I don't know, like, it just happened so fast. It was a jump scare, so it's a good nerf. Okay, Bandit Bringer, gonna attack level buff, gonna deal more damage. Upon landing, Soul is gonna slide forward a little, meaning if you block it, it will be easier to punish. And the Air Bandit Bringer is no longer chargeable, so it's the same timing every time, meaning you can't use it kind of to air stall and dodge 6B quite as easily, which is good because it was messed up. Going air dash into Bandit Bringer and then charging it different amounts, considering like how big the reward was on hit and that you were only -2, and that if you spaced it out properly, it was super easy to get out of it. Now you can't do that anymore. Good nerf for one. And then, yeah, Aerial Bandit Bringer, you can't no longer hurl it, that's what I just mentioned. So it's gonna be more consistent. Wild Throw has increased damage. Sure, yeah, sure. Wild Throw is kind of one of the moves, you know? And because the only way to combo out of the Wild Throw is to go for a Roman Cancel afterward, your combo is usually pretty scaled. And because now DP is gonna wall splat in one, your combo routing might be even weaker after a Wild Throw, and additionally, a Wild Throw, if your opponent is in the corner, means you lose the corner. Well, that's pretty good. Soul is now better as strength throw. Now, Nitrate Vortex is getting reworked. If you guys saw the trailer once again, for the reveal or whatever, you saw that Nitrate Vortex is now special cancelable. And the charged version will have an increased attack level and increased damage, which is nice. It's already attack level 3, I believe, because you can get a counter hit from it if you fully charge it. Really good as a low profile to go on the projectile or whatever. Now it's going to be attack level 4, meaning even on non-counter hit, you should be able to get a very good combo from it. And on counter hit, it's obviously going to be better than ever. Fafnir now has a clean hit, and it's been kind of reworked, right? No longer guard crushes, so yeah, no longer guard crushes. It's no longer a guard crush move, but it can be special cancelled, which is really, really cool. And kind of reworked it a little. It no longer gives that much risk, which makes sense because it's no longer like this massive move you kind of go for. No longer used as useful as Oki, I guess, but it was kind of finicky to use Fafnir as Oki, which is kind of cool. Okay, I like it. I like Fafnir being special cancelable. I like Vortex being cancel specialable. So many new routes are going to be possible. Very cool, very cool. And then Tyrant Rave clean hit's been adjusted. The clean hit of Tyrant Rave is just when both moves hit. It's like it's gonna be easier to confirm a clean hit pretty much. That's it. And then Heavy Mod Cemetery is now a 100-meter move. We now have like 4 technically 100-meter moves. We have Slayer with his 100-meter move. We have Dizzy. We have Soul with Heavy Mod Cemetery, and the other, if you could technically consider it, is Faust. Or actually, you could say it's 5 if you want to consider Sin's follow-up to his Ride the Lightning. But yeah, it's gonna be a bigger move. It's gonna deal more damage. It's gonna have a minimum damage scaling, which makes sense because you don't want to spend 100 meter and do no damage because your combo is super scaled. And yeah, super cool. Soul is like, it's no longer the most useful move in the game. I'm hyped. Moving on to Kai. Taunt! New Taunt! Yeah! New Taunt versus Sin. Okay, yeah, New Taunt versus Sin. Okay, actually I said I was gonna recap Soul. Yeah, Soul, pretty cool. 5k being nerfed is like, it's gonna affect him, but pretty cool. I like these changes, that's it. That's all I gotta say. Soul is gonna be so cool now. Taunt. Kai New Taunt. Woohoo! Kai is gonna have decreased defense as well. Some characters get increased defense, so that's why I'm gonna mention it. This isn't a universal change, but they change pretty much the defense of everyone universally. 6p increased recovery, 6h increased recovery. Sure, just makes like he has slightly worse neutral. Kai had pretty much the best neutral in the game if you consider the frame data on all of his normals. But yeah, 6p increased recovery, 6h recovery, sure. Jumping S has a lower hitbox and hurtbox, meaning it will be more consistent as an air-to-air when you're maybe out of a super jump or your opponent goes jump air dash, so he's very low to the ground, and you go full jump into jump S or whatever. More consistent, but also bigger hurtbox, so it's not a disjoint, it's not meant so that the sword kind of catches everything. You can still get hit by your opponent's air-to-air if it hurts you, right? And you can kind of like visualize Kai's jump S in your head, right? He kind of goes like Superman pose, kind of goes like very horizontal, so his hurtbox and hitbox has been kind of shrunk a little, so it's a nice change. Okay, Stun Edge all version. Increase hit stop and shock state, and during shock state and dragon install. Okay, so during dragon install and shock state, more hit stop, sure, that's it. Just makes the projectile slightly bigger when you already have shock state on or you're in DI. Foudre A, decreased blowback, and it increased falling speed after the ground bounce. So you'll have less time to combo when you usually get it as an air-to-air or as like something you use just to call out an air dash or whatever, just in general. It's gonna ground bounce your opponent, but make them fall slightly faster, so you'll have to go for faster moves to route your combo, so less damage on your combo. DP can no longer be cancelled into overdrive, just like so. Just like, you know, it's like the universal change to make so that DPs are like truly a reversal that can't be cancelled into anything. You can no longer cancel them into RC ever since last patch, and now you can't cancel them into supers anymore. Heavy DP has increased damage though, and during shock state, they made it so it launches the opponent slightly higher up and slightly less far away so that you can combo easier. Notably, in the trailer they revealed you can do 2k2d DP with shock state into a 2k, and the 2k will be. The heavy grounded vapor thrust will decrease the amount of uses before you get like move probation or proration. This just means basically, if you guys didn't know, if you do the same move over and over again, eventually it will deal less damage. So like Soul Badguy going far slash, far slash, far slash, far slash, far slash over and over and over means they will add less risk on block and they will do lower damage on hit. Basically, this means it will take more moves before you get that damage reduction, which is just so that now that heavy DP is a more useful combo tool, you no longer lower your damage kind of on accident because you're forced to go into 2 DPs per combo, or a DP into something that catches, into a DP full of wall splat, and whatever. So yeah, you can use the move more often before it deals less damage. And increase horizontal nullback on counter hit for direct left, which means you'll get probably worse conversion from mid-screen, but in the corner, you'll probably make your opponent tumble a little longer to catch them with a 6H afterwards. That now has increased recovery, which actually doesn't matter when you use it in a combo. I'm saying whatever. Kai changes, yeah. Kind of insignificant, but still I like him having more conversion with a shock state on. It's pretty nice. And yeah, it's going to be probably a more damaging combo. Probably more unique routes are going to be able to be done with now heavy DP being a much more stronger combo tool. Kind of like how Soul uses some, like his DPs and combos. Okay, let's look at Mei. Increased startup for standing K, so worse move now. Increased startup for far slash, which is worst move, but decreased recovery, so it's the same frame rate overall. Increased startup and increased recovery for 2S, so 2S is a worst move overall, just like slower move in general. Standing heavy now has a launch effect on counter hit and has slightly better blowback so that you can combo better on it. And once again, that was something you could see in the video, you know, the review. Crouching heavy increased damage, 6H increased damage, and you have now a smaller hurt bar, which is even more disjointed, which is crazy. Jump heavy increased damage, jump down heavy increased damage, jump dust increased damage, but slightly increased recovery. Mei's gonna kill everyone. I didn't mention her defense being decreased. But yo, everything has increased damage. Super has increased damage, or yeah, and now like the new like kind of move, the new property on her dolphin is now that you can influence the move speed when you jump out. No, not when you jump out. When you do the dolphin, when you do a dolphin, you can influence the move speed. Yeah, but increased damage on everything is kind of crazy. Axl, decreased defense. Okay. All of his far-reaching move at the tip of the attack, they deal more damage, which is nice. It just means as a zoner, at long range, he's going to deal more damage just from his random pokes or from his kind of committal air-to-air or anti-air attacks where like he needs to get like a very big read on your movement to get a moderately good combo, but now it's going to deal more damage at full range. Nice. A sickle flash, which would used to be the charge move, is no longer a charge move. So now Axl no longer has charge move. And that means you can actually combo differently into it. You can do some moves into Sickle Slash, such as like a forward kick. Forward kick into Sickle Slash is now something you can do, or just any standing move as an air-to-air, whatever, right? The idea is you no longer need to charge, so you can go forward into a Sickle Slash when in neutral, which is really nice. All follow-ups to Sickle Slash have increased damage. And the new move from last season, the Whistling Wind, now launches on grounded hit. On hit, right, on block itself. S, like, quarter circle back S no longer vacuums quite as much. Actually, it no longer vacuums straight up. Actually, forward blowback, so it's gonna push your opponent forward, which means in the combo you might be able to do, in the corner you might be able to do some interesting combos, but you can no longer use it kind of to do rainwater loop, right? But because every single move has increased damage at far range, it seems they really want Axl to push you away with his combos and then kind of catch you, OTG with something, or just keep you far away, right? And it's going to be more consistent to go with Sickle Flash because it's no longer a charge move. Axl's going to be kind of crazy. Increased damage on Octave Lumber and increased recovery on the super, which is nice because you used to be required to go for a unique counter to Sickle Storm, right? Sickle Storm was plus and would push you so much further away that you would need to jump in between both hits, which was pretty much just a knowledge check. So it's nice that they kind of make it more consistent that you block a super so you get a punish, and that's it. You no longer need the matchup knowledge for that. Chipp gets his new move. Yeah, overall, Gingers for Axl, as I kind of mentioned, they seem to want him to function better from further away, which is nice. That's it. Chipp. Chipp has a new move. You already know he has Tight Rope. Chipp has a new move. It's gonna be crazy. Chipp defense decrease. Increase startup on 6p. Decrease recovery on decrease recovery on 6p. Increase startup on 5p. Sorry. Crouching heavy will now launch your opponent higher and less far away, which will be more consistent for combo. Forward heavy will decrease horizontal blowback, once again more consistent in combos, which is nice. The diagonal blade, like the grounded alpha blade, that goes from the bottom left to the top right. Decrease falling speed and decrease horizontal blowback, which will make it more consistent in combos, kind of like how Anji can go for co-loops. Chipp can kind of go for these alpha blade loop where he goes like 2 west, 2 wage alpha blade. Now it's going to be more consistent because your opponent is going to fall slower. So even when the gravity scaling is higher, you'll be able to do it longer. Wall run. It's just a bug fix. There was like some issues with wall run, notably when your opponent was wall splat or wall slumped. You weren't able to go into wall run, and going for wall run as Chipp when your opponent is on the wall kind of unsticks them from the wall, which allows them for additional mix-ups. So yeah, that's a nice change. Pretty much all of his moves on the wall run are getting increased damage, so that there's more reason to go for a wall run to end your combo. And you can no longer do kick on the wall, just like how Chipp can do kick into kick into kick. Right? But that doesn't really matter. There wasn't that many routes where you go kick on the wall, apart from a super heavily scaled combo where every hit would deal 1 damage because of how scaled it was. And yeah. Tight rope, new move. Up and down during tight rope, new move. So go either above or below the rope. And his super, heavy super, which is a choom, is going to deal more damage and has increased minimum damage, which is nice because it seems they want Chipp to go for wall run combos, and the wall run combo can either be finished into just any hit, which will give you a soft knockdown, or go into this heavy super, but the heavy super resets your opponent's position back to mid-screen. So it's nice that they give this minimum damage guaranteed to the combo, so that there's a more reason to go for wall run, more reason to end wall run into this, and take Oki as opposed to positive water. Next up, Potemkin. Let's go, Potemkin. Let's go. Let's look at Potemkin. Defense, decreased defense, but increased guts. So overall, similar damage. Potemkin now has increased guts. Now Potemkin gains more meter from simply going forward, which is nice. Standing guard crush has a shrunk upper hitbox, and crouching guard crush has a shrunk upper hitbox. I don't know what that means. I assume there was maybe some scenarios where you could go for some weird instant overheads. Now with a shrunken upper hitbox, it will be probably harder to go for these weird overhead combos. Standing punch, just a fix. Major adjustment to hitbox and hardbox, mainly the frontal hitbox and shrunk hardbox. It was kind of inconsistent. Like it was just like it wouldn't match with the punch. It wouldn't match with its hand. So now this is more consistent. Crouching punch, increased startup, increased active frames, increased recovery. So more active but worst frame data overall. 6p, decreased active frames. So they don't say anything about increased recovery, which will probably mean it will recover faster overall because it's less frames in the move. But yeah, less active 6p, so you have to be better to time it. But it might be more useful now that it has slightly less recovery. Standing kick, increased active frames, increased recovery. So probably not as useful in those backwards Kara Mega Fist loops where you go 5k into 2146 kick punch or whatever. Yeah. Standing kick slightly worse. And the hurt box would used to expand, but now it only expands after the move, so it's more consistent as a whiff punish. Before you could kind of like poke through it, and it was after. Crouching kick, decreased startup, increased recovery, probably the same frame data overall, but slightly faster, which will probably mean he has a more consistent punish. Like crouching kick might become his fastest move, right? Yeah. Forward kick. Remove special effect when canceling the start of an attack with a special move. What? What? I knew people were crying because people were saying, oh yeah bro, they made Potemkin so much harder, so much like more beginner friendly, but just they fucked him up at a high level. I didn't know they straight up removed Kara 6k. What the fuck? What the fuck? So I guess you can no longer Kara 6k, but the upside, quote unquote, is that Potemkin Buster is armored, and it probably becomes like nicer in combo, like such as 6k into Flick probably becomes better. But like straight up, what the fuck? Like straight up, yeah, no more Kara on Potemkin. That's very crazy. It's very crazy that there's no more Kara on Potemkin. That's all I gotta say. Decreased non-back on standing S, which will probably make it more consistent. Major adjustment to the hitbox and hurtbox on bar slash, once again probably make it more consistent. Major adjustment to the hurtbox and hurtbox on 2S, probably more consistent. Increased damage on crouching heavy. Decreased launch height and increased falling speed. Increased launch height on counter hit, and the opponent no longer techs on counter hit. There's a lot of moves now that provide a hard knockdown from Potemkin. Counter hit 2S is now, 2A is gonna be one of them now. Probably the purpose is to use it as a DP punish maybe. Seems that with increased damage and less possibility for these longer routes with Kara backwards Mega Fist, probably use more normals and now they deal more damage. Forward heavy, increased tumble duration, and added a wall bounce effect, which is actually pretty cool. That's going to be interesting to see what route Potemkin can go into 6H and kind of wall bounce his opponent back towards him. It's going to be pretty cool. Jumping punch, increased recovery. Okay, sure. Jumping punch, increased recovery. Yeah. I mean, it's not going to change that much. Colors with adjustment on jumping K. Increased startup and decreased knockback on jumping S. Increased attack level on jumping heavy. And adjusted the wall break direction horizontal. So I guess this means if your opponent is grounded and you go for jumping heavy, the wall break direction is horizontal, meaning it's not a move that brings the opponent up. And so if you wall break with jumping heavy, that might mean that you get a wall slump, but that's unclear. Ground throw has a standardized distance, so that no matter where you throw him, if you're in the corner, you're the same distance from the character, which is nice. Same thing for Potemkin Buster. Increased damage on Potemkin Buster. And it has 1 hit of armor. Decreased launch height, decreased opponent's direction, adjusted opponent's direction and damage take, adjusted proximity requirement, whereas previously it extended gradually. With its adjustment, it has now 2 phases with the first and the latter half of the move. So it's no longer this kind of gradual gets closer to your move. It's either at close range, it's super fast, probably straight up a reversal, and at long range, it's probably as long as what it was before. No longer shrinks the hurtbox at its piece, which will make just punishing it a bit more consistent. Heat Knuckle increased damage, made the start of the attack less susceptible to momentum, so FDing it is going to be not as good. Okay, pretty cool. Heat Tackle changed the input from heavy to DP with a kick. That's very crazy. That's very crazy, by the way. So that's the new move, anyway. That's like this. The air move, half circle heavy, is now DP kick. That's crazy. Increased damage, increased active frame, a blowback adjustment. Okay. Mega Fist forward. Decreased landing recovery, so it's slightly more plus, I guess. Mega Fist backward. Decreased frame advantage on block. Weird. Very weird. But I guess now that you can no longer Kara it or roll it, there's no longer any Kara on Potemkin. I guess what the idea is that the only way to go forward is to go Kara Mega Fist forward, and now it's no longer minus, it's no longer punishable, and Kara Mega Fist backward is used only to kind of get out of block strings, but it's less advantageous, so you can no longer kind of just do it in the corner to be plus always. Flight ahead, increased recovery, increased damage, added a guard crush effect, which is pretty cool because now you have to either backdashes or jump it. You can no longer just crouch block it and just dash block forward towards Potemkin. You have to either commit to a jump or react with a backdash. Hammerfall, increased recovery. Sure, when you cancel it, it's probably, decreased recovery when you cancel it. That's nice. Flick the bullet. Once again, change the input to a quarter circle back kick. Which is weird, like, what? Why are they making so many kind of like simplification of the Potemkin inputs or whatever? I guess they do want it to be more beginner friendly, but like all the inputs change that I don't mind, with like, yo, the Kara, no longer Kara, and there's so many moves that are now on kick that there's no way like you could ever Kara, even if they keep the Kara, because all the moves are on kick now. You can no longer Kara 6k because you will get vertical forward kick. You can no longer you can no longer Kara 6k because you will get the DP and whatever. Okay. It can now reflect almost all projectiles. So they make it so you can reflect more, as you can see, as you maybe saw in the video, you know, the video I keep referencing. You could deflect Asuka's cubes to increase damage, decrease attack level, so it's no longer as useful in combo, it seems. Added strike and throw invincibility until the end of recovery when reflecting a projectile. So if you reflect a projectile, you can just be thrown at point blank, which is nice. Blowback adjustment, remove the tumble effect. Once again, it's going to be less consistent, less useful in combo, except when you fully charge it, which is nice. Fully charged version is still going to be a good move. Reflective projectile, the projectile triggers an explosion on contact and twice, so a stronger reflective projectile, which is nice. Garuda impact, change to projectile properties, meaning it's like completely disjointed. New properties, the opponent no longer insert a blocking stance before the attack comes up. So before just being holding backwards, you will no longer walk backwards, you would start blocking right away. No longer triggers counter hit effect, which is really crazy. It means you won't get like that kind of massive crumple into Potemkin Buster. Decrease tension gauge gain, increase base damage scaling, decrease chip damage, once again no longer as useful as this kind of massive guard crush move that you kind of just go Kara Garuda, Garuda, and you kind of like stuck your opponent. Super weird change. No longer affected by knockback. Once again, they mentioned earlier like decreased effect of the FD on it. Less susceptible to momentum. Heavenly Potemkin Buster. That's so weird. It's no longer double quarter circle forward, it's half circle forward, increased damage. Gigantic Eye. The projectile no longer travels below the corner, which is more consistent. If you have your opponent in the corner, it will be forced to eat all the hits. Wall Assault is now a blue Wall Assault, which is, ooh, that's really cool. That's really cool because the blue Wall Assault triggers a crumple state, so you can go like, blue Wall Assault, Potemkin Buster, yeah. Okay, but I want to read what they have to say at the top, because honestly, this is like a big controversial change, and it's really weird. They made Potemkin so much more simple. He loses so many things. Like, okay, let's see what they have to say. He used to need techniques to extend the range of special moves by cancelling the startup of 6k. Yeah, making him an ordeal to perform his most crucial move. These adjustments remove the special sliding input effect from 6k, instead extending the overall range of Potemkin Buster and adding armor. So you no longer need to Kara 6k to get a Potemkin Buster at round start, but you just naturally get it. Inputs are FBD, Heat Knuckle, and Potemkin Buster have been chained. As previously, they would sometimes activate unintentionally. Okay, I get that. I get that for the super especially, but for the other two, they clearly simplified it. FDP and Heat Knuckle haven't been changed so that they wouldn't activate. They made it like you don't do a half circle on accident, right? They made it so it's easier at the level, so that's kind of a lot. You can still deal 360 as a Potemkin Buster, so you can still do back, forwards, up if you want as well. Major changes to his property on his hit, but like, okay, I guess they want to make it less crucial to learn Kara 6k, which is nice at the low level, but like they just killed it. They killed every kind of skill expression and every kind of like these super long combo routings, these super optimal things. So I guess it's cool. It's cool for the vast majority of Potemkin players, but at the highest level, I think it's kind of sad. Okay, Faust now. Defense, decrease defense. Dust attack. Added dedicated hitbox that can strike items. We saw that in the video. Hitbox can only hit items that are midair. It does not hit the opponent. Change how hitting items work. Previously, this was handled based on distance when striking items, but now this is a managed hitbox for hitting items and a hurt box for the items. The large hitbox for hitting items makes it easier to strike items than before, which is nice. Notably for like the bomb, which is kind of like this mini game that happens where Faust throws a bomb at you, and you can like either keep it on your side to kind of stick it down and play with that, but that's nice. It's gonna be more consistent to hit item. Jumping 2k, increased landing recovery, which is kind of like this dive kick. which is gonna make it more consistent to punish. Air throw leaves him closer to his opponent with more advantages, which is nice because it's nice. Getting an air throw should give good reward. Getting an air throw isn't easy, and Faust has so many good air button options that going for air throw should give him better reward. So, down with item stored. If you now input backwards or forward, you can change the momentum and the direction of where the item will be tossed. Make it fall close to you or close to your opponent, which is nice for things when you store a food item, when you store the trumpet, right? You get more decision making when you store an item, which is nice. All-in-one, increased damage of being hit, which is nice. All-in-one can now be performed individually, so you can now just do the all-in-one, which is what we saw in the video to hit items. But this doesn't have a clean hit. Fix an issue causing the bomb to explode after an area shift under 6 position, so this is a bug fix. The increased damage on the bomb, once again I talk about how dust attack, this made it so item throws are more consistent. So yeah, bomb has increased damage, so now Faust has better tools to kind of like get his bomb on the opponent, and as you probably would expect, Faust players will, like by default, be more experienced with dealing with the bombs than those who only play against Faust a little bit. So this is a nice change. This will probably be a buff overall. 100 tons increased damage. There are now changes to the damage, guard restoration, and blowback, and then expanded the headlock. Donut can be obtained even while it's midair, if it's struck with hole-in-one. So if you hit the donut, you eat it. Same with the banana. Same with the afro. You can hit the afro, I think. The afro can be obtained, but that means like it can be up midair, as and the implication is it doesn't have to fall, right? It doesn't have to fall on your opponent and hit the ground before it gets applied. It just gets applied as soon as it hits. Changes to the damage and knockback when the item is struck with dust attack or all-in-one, which is pretty interesting. So if you hit a meteorite, it's gonna have new properties. I'm kind of excited to see that. It's kind of hard to imagine because you hit the, like kind of like with the hammer or the 100 tons, it doesn't fall down and then you hit it. It falls down and it activates. So it goes up, and when it falls down, it's already activated. So meteors are going to be activated kind of in a weird way, so I'm kind of excited to see. Number of times it changes direction for mini Faust, so it's kind of going to stay a little, probably just, it's going to stay less time on screen. Can now be obtained while midair. Yeah, once again, if you hit the trumpet, you can obtain while midair. There are now changes to damage when it's struck. So yeah, when you hit the hammer, new properties. When you hit meteor, new properties. And when you hit any items without hit confirming them, you throw them automatically on your opponent, so you can accidentally heal your opponent. Or straight up give them trumpet. These are some nice change. Not the most significant change, but Faust is gonna have easier time controlling his item, kind of like solidifying him as this kind of crazy, very unorthodox item character, random character, RNG character, which is nice. So new tool for him to kind of just do some random shit on the screen. It's cool. Millia. Decreased defense. Aerial backdash has a new... It's weird. If you guys saw the video, once again the video, it's weird. Millia's backdash is weird. It's hard to say what this is going to change. Decreased active frames, increased recovery, probably the same frame data overall on 6P. Close slash, more damage. Jump K, increased launch height, so more combos from Jump K. Jump heavy, expanded the hitbox and the hurtbox, so bigger hurtbox means it can be anti-air more easily, but bigger hitbox means it's better at longer ranges. Jump D increased damage can now be cancelled into an aerial dash, so now Jump D is kind of a standard jumping button for Millia, you could say. It's like, just like every other button that can be jump cancelled, Jump D will now be able to be jump cancelled. Iron Savior, which is the car, increased damage. Mizar, which is the little dash, has increased duration window that it can be cancelled into other move, which will make it easier to cancel into other move. Artemis, which is her new move, has increased damage. And Capel, which is the heavy disc, has increased knockback. No longer launch opponents on grounded hit, which is insane. That's insane. So a mid-air Capel no longer launches an opponent who's on the ground that fails an anti-air, which is insane. You no longer like get this full combo into a wall break commit, which is really cool. Okay, let's see what they did to Zato. Let's see if they revived Zato. But Millia changes overall, pretty chill changes. It's gonna be a bit faster and a bit more consistent with our option, but less cheap with Capel. Well, that's nice. Adjustment having made to Zato, let's see. Decreased defense, decreased active frames and increased recovery, so same frame beta on 6p. Close slash, increased damage. Far slash, increased attack level and decreased knockback, so probably much better in combo. Crouch slash, increased active frame. Standing heavy, decreased knockback, which is better in combo. Forward heavy, decreased startup, decreased knockback, and increased horizontal movement speed, which is the little thing where he gets into his eddy form and he kind of slaps you in the air. Momentum now remains on landing, which will probably make it more punishable on block and simultaneously have better reward on hit. All the eddy moves are getting more damage, and this, like, having eddy up reduces eddy. It has reduced cost and increased cost while attacking. So if you just have opposed up to kind of block projectile, it's going to cost less. But if you have oppose to stop your opponent from mashing, and you go into a mix-up where you prevent your opponent from pressing altogether, it's going to deplete faster, which is nice. It's a nice thing. Break the law. The activating condition for a movement is not determined by whether or not eddy is currently present, not on the remaining eddy gap. Okay, which is nice. Before it was like dependent on how much health you had on eddy. Now it's only if he's there or not, meaning if eddy disappears mid-move, the move is gonna go through. Damped Fang, which is a command grab, fully replenishes eddy life. Drunken Shade, which is the thing where you go down on the ground, and no longer is like fully invisible as an expanded hitbox and everything. Sun Void, which is a super, increased recovery for eddy, and increased damage, which is the sword super. So Eddy's gonna recover slower from it, but more damage, so it's better as this kind of finishing move to wall break, but it's not as good as this random thing you throw out in neutral to just get Eddy back and get all of these resources back. So good changes overall. I'm not sure how this is gonna work out, but it seems increased damage will make Zato a lot more of a threat when Eddy's up, but when Eddy's down, Zato's gonna be in a safer position. But with stronger normals, it seems. Alright, Ramlethal. Decreased damage, decreased defense, decreased damage on our punch moves, increased recovery, decreased damage on 6p. Adjusted opponent damage state to the same as moves such as soul, close slash, and grounded hit. So a 6p will kind of get this slight launch, but if you let your opponent fall back down to the ground, you'll still be able to combo. So you can choose to either go for a launch hit or hit confirm it, let your opponent fall back down to go in a grounded grab. Decreased damage on all over normals, it seems. Seems just getting a shit ton of decreased damage. Damn. But increased sword damage on crouching slash. Increased sword damage on far slash, so when she no longer has a sword, a lot less damage. So it seems they really want to solidify damage from the sword and not damage from herself. Increased sword damage on crouching heavy. Increased damage on forward heavy. Dust attack, increased active frames. Sweep, decreased damage. Jumping P, decreased damage. Increased sword damage on jump heavy. Jump heavy, more active frames, increased sword damage. Jump D, decreased damage. Now sword toss, increased damage, adds a crowd, guard crush, and the sword can no longer be picked up until they move towards Ramlethal, so you can no longer walk over them to pick them up. And adjusted the time before the attack explodes. Let's see if they mention here, if they talk about like the property where, yeah, they fire downwards in a diagonal from above, unlike previous seasons. So yeah, they kind of home in into your opponent, kind of. Okay. Both slash and heavy slash, yeah, that's what we just saw. The hitbox of the sword, a major adjustment to the overall properties, such as the hit effect and projectile speed. And yeah, they don't really mention all of it, but the sword now launches from above and then they go downward. Okay, so they mention it individually for the sword. Remove crumple effect on guarded hit, making it launch the opponent. Okay, pretty cool. The little forward move with a DP for push. Increased startup, increased attack level, added launch effect on grounded hit. So it's gonna give pretty much a similar route, but no longer a counter hit, and increased startup, so it's no longer as useful as a neutral skip. Quarter circle back kick now hits as an overhead, which is negligible, right? This is something they could have done with Kai as well, because you can react to it and block high. The difficulty is reacting to it and interrupting it, so it's nice. It's an overhead, but still, like, it won't change that much, it's still reactable. Increase damage, increase movement speed. Yeah, that's pretty much it. The grounded version, increase startup. Ooh, not an overhead, so only the air version is an overhead. Pretty cool. And then aerial, same thing, decrease landing recovery. Okay, so decrease landing recovery up on the air version. Now the little the massive with her sword is now special cancelable. Increase startup, increase moving speed, making it proceed. Okay. Adjusted damage state. Okay. So it's now special cancelable, which is nice. You can use it in combo and use it as a finisher to kind of get pokey. Critical back punch. Adjusted overall properties. This is the Rekka. Adjusted the timing cancel for a follow-up. Increase startup, decrease active crit, increase recovery. So increase startup, increase recovery. So slower, more recovery, but increased damage. This is the first hit only. Second hit, you only need to do backwards punch, no longer need to do a quarter circle forward, a quarter circle back after every punch. Remove dash cancel property. Okay, that's kind of crazy. Increase startup, increase recovery, increase damage. And then the third hit was again only simplified input, increase startup, decrease recovery. So the final move has decrease recovery and increase damage. Decrease attack level as well. Okay, that's cool. Quarter circle forward kick. There's an issue causing the direction of the sword to reverse after the recovery under certain conditions, so that's just a bug fix. Quarter circle back S, increase sword damage. Super can only be performed when both swords are equipped. Nice. Same, okay, both supers can only be. Oh no, okay. Increases damage when both swords are equipped, and decrease damage per one. Decrease attack level as well. What is swords are equipped? Okay, so it seems they really want to make Ramlethal focus on her sword more. A lot of her moves are getting nerfed, a lot of her moves are getting less damage, her swords are getting more damage to compensate. Her projectile sword going underground is heavily buffed, but she no longer grabs the sword right away, right after it. She now gets an overhead when in the air with her quarter circle back kick, and her Rekka seems to be a lot weaker on block. Right, Leo. Decrease defense. Now Leo can his dash when. Now Leo can dash block. Okay, that's it. Increase recovery on 6p. The starter of the attack can no longer cancel into super, which is just a universal change to DPs. Decreased horizontal pullback on the final hit, which will make the opponent closer and maybe give better OK on heavy DP. Did they mention it right here? Did they mention how they want heavy DP still perform? Okay, semi-walk cross up. Okay, so they added back that you can cross up after heavy DP, but now because you can no longer Roman cancel a DP, it's no longer this kind of like you just do it whenever you have 50 meter type thing. Decrease movement speed on the quarter circle heavy, okay, sure. Decrease knockback on quarter circle like S, sure. During his stance, his dash can now be cancelled into normals. Okay, so he can dash block, yeah. During his stance, his back dash has a brief strike throw invisibility, so it's like a standard back dash that is considered airborne, you know. Punch, increased damage, kick to increase damage, S increased damage, heavy increased damage, but can no longer be cancelled into other actions. So before, in his stance, every move could be cancelled into each other, so you could do like kick slash, and kick was a low, so you go kick slash into the overhead, kick slash, kick slash, and you go crazy. Now you can no longer do that, but each move individually will do higher damage. Dust can be dash cancelled after withstanding an attack. So if you get the partial parry on the parry, you can now dash cancel. Increase damage on the stance moves, which is quarter circle back kick, quarter circle back heavy, and the super. Okay, sure. Nago. Oh yeah, the good changes overall for thing. It's gonna be interesting to see how he now gets back access to his cross up after getting a VP. That was removed previously because it was kind of OP. But yeah, now that they've removed DPPRC, or DPRC I mean, it should be fine. Nago. Okay. Training mode. Oh my god, they made changes to Nago training mode. Expanded character specific training, so you can set up your block. That's nice. Decrease defense, increase guts. And the decrease guts. Damn! Nago's gonna die. Increase recovery and 6 speed. You maintain your momentum when you cancel 6k at a crumple effect even on counter hit. Can no longer be special cancelable for his heavy, but increase damage and increase the dark rush. This is something I mentioned for a while. Like, they did so with his 6H, now they did it with his 5H, which is the like, move, which you kind of use a lot when you're like at 2 bars of blood because of the expanded ring. And yeah, crouching heavy is gonna have the same property, which is like now it's exclusive use as a anti-air. It's no longer this just you use it as a poke and you go dash behind it, or you go fuck you behind it, or you go the fucking Beyblade behind it, right? Good changes overall, I think, because it was kind of messed up. But it will make Nago significantly weaker at low blood. At 2 blood bar, you don't want to special cancel because you don't want to pop. So at 2 blood bar, this is going to be a buff, but at low blood, this is going to be a nerf. Increased damage on 6H, sure. Adjustment to blood rage. So when you pop, it launches you a lot higher, and you can tech, and you can no longer tech upon landing, so it gives a hard knockdown even if you don't get a conversion at the wall. And yeah, because of the additional launch height, you can combo off of it at the wall. Chrono Circle 4S, increased launch height, DP heavy, removed ground bounce effect on the second hit. When the second hit lands a counter hit, it maintains the prior ground bounce. Okay, so you no longer get as good of a reward on the second overhead. And oh my god, what? Oh my god, that's crazy. I thought, okay, when Nago does the Blood Rage Super, he sets his HP to 1. I thought the change was you automatically lose all your health that you would lose from the Blood Rage, right? Because when you go into Blood Rage, you lose half your health. So I thought the change was you lose half your health instantly. So it puts you at 1 health if you're below 1 health, if you're below half health. But it's just, it puts you at 1. So, dude, if you do round start, like, pop all your blood, you can do like round start, like spin DP, spin DP, spin DP, spin DP, pop, close slash super, and you put yourself at 1 health. That's really crazy. That's a really interesting change. Nago like really becomes this truly like one-shot character. Right? Cool changes overall. I really like the change on standing heavy and crouching heavy. People are crying about it, but they're crying because Nago players cry because Hotashi plays Nago. That's it. Geo. Decreased defense. Dash. Increased momentum carried from cancelling the start, so much more momentum from the dash. Decreased active frame rate recovery on the 6P, meaning the same frame rate overall. Forward heavy, decreased recovery upon landing on the 3rd hit, so I don't think it's going to be plus, I don't think it's going to be safe, but it might give more reward on the hit. Maybe you'll be able to get an OTG after the 3rd hit of forward heavy. Increased movement speed on the 3rd hit as well. Power-up state with the follow-up adjustment to the power-up state. Increased percentage damage speed, or forward momentum and dash movement speed become faster, so he gets an even stronger dash and even more damage while she has. I'm assuming this is above 100 meter only, and not above 50 meter, but we'll have to see. Okay, so increased recovery for her kick, which will probably mean it's now punishable. It used to be minus and punishable at close range, now it will probably be straight up punishable because it's now able to be done from so much further away because of her powered up dash state, so this is pretty nice. But it increases the knockback on block during her empowered version, which will mean it will be difficult probably to punish at such a long range. Back kick. So only the powered up version of the dog kick. Decreased knockback on hit, increased movement speed, and adjustment to the blowback. Decreased recovery for the drill, only for the power-up version though, and increased movement speed, but remove Dark Rush effect. Okay, so that's nice. So no longer like this massive, just straight up go for a strike remove, especially for characters who have DP, or just like in general, you can now backdash, you can mash, you can jump, whatever. The DP move, forward, down, forward, S. Adjusted blowback, probably meaning decreased horizontal blowback and falling speed, so decreased falling speed when the move is blocked midair. Probably making it so if you use it as an anti-air, but your opponent goes dash and just into nothing, so he just blocks. Geo still has an advantageous position. Decreased horizontal blowback and falling speed. Yep. Powered up version of the DP on grounded hit, decreased horizontal blowback and increased falling speed. Decreased blowback, increased falling speed, meaning you'll probably be able to get a close dash after it, but not much more combos because increased gravity scaling. And finally, just her Chavi, the move she goes to go into her Empire stance. No longer counts a counter hit when Giovanna is hit during the animation. Okay, that's cool. Alright, let's go. Anji changes! Woohoo! Anji changes. Decreased defense. Decreased recovery on 6 speed. Yes! Increased damage on jump dust. Yes! Charge Fujin can now be cancelled into any special move. We all thought, because they only showed Fujin, we all thought it was Fujin only be able to cancel into Fujin, but no, Fujin can be cancelled into any move, which is awesome. It's gonna have allows for so many new combo routings. Decrease horizontal blowback and increase falling speed for like the hit, meaning if you go probably notably for close slash counter hit into heavy slash into fully charged Fujin, you probably won't be able to go into hop into close slash. You'll have to go charge Fujin into go or charge Fujin into charge Fujin. You'll have to change your routing in that regard. The increased knockback on Nagiha, which is really nice. This might mean that finally close slash into heavy slash into Nagiha combos into close slash. Forever you needed to get a full run up, full sprint close slash with the dash momentum to combo into close slash. This is gonna be really nice. Decrease startup on the overhead, increase damage, but remove the ground bounce effect. So less reward on a hit, probably less reward. You probably have to go for a slow RC to get a full combo after it, as opposed to a fast RC. But opponent no longer techs up on landing. You get a hard knockdown from the overhead. Ko has increased damage, and the super, the parry super, now turns to face your opponent. So when parrying things such as Millia's disc, it's going to be a lot stronger, because Millia used to just cross you up and you had to parry from, like you had to do the parry input from her being on the right, and then she would just go on the left and you'd parry backwards, and there was nothing you could do. But that's really nice. Yes, Anji changes are so cool. I'm super excited to try them out tomorrow. It's going to be so hype. Ino changes. Increase defense, increase recovery and 6p, air throw, decrease horizontal rollback, probably getting better Oki. The projectile LB can be cancelled into itself, deleting the previous projectile. Inputting forward during her chemical love now alters your momentum. Stroke the Big 3 has a collision adjustment, so our hurt box no longer expands until the final active range of the move, meaning you can no longer interrupt it with a move that would normally get low crashed as easily. Her new move, increase active frame. All of her drills increase damage, and her super, and grounded counter hit for the initial hit, reduced horizontal blowback, so probably more consistently getting all of her hits, whereas previously she'd kind of push you out of it if she got a counter hit, not a first hit. Alright, so this is gonna be crazy. Goldlewis changes are gonna be crazy. Pre-battle introduction, yeah, they have a Slayer voice line. Slayer's gonna have the same change pre-battle introduction for a Goldlewis voice line. Increased defense, forward heavy, increased damage, security level, added cooldown time to each move that expands security level. So if you spend security level, it's no longer regens right away. But if you spend at level 1, it seems it will. Yeah, spending at level 1 decreases starting speed, but spending at level 2 increases starting speed. Okay, pretty cool. So if you only spend, that's kind of like the Roman cancel thing I was mentioning earlier, but only for Goldlewis. So you have this like decision you have to make. Do you want to stay at 2 security and only spend 1 so you get this faster regen? Or do you want to cash out and then have to go back through this slower level 1 regen? And this is going to be really nice. Nice decision making, and probably force him to not as often go into Behemoth, into Behemoth, into Behemoth, into a move, into Behemoth, and deal 75% of your health. Alright, all of the Behemoth are gonna have added hitbox, I guess. I'm not gonna go over all of the Behemoth, bro. Okay. Oh, fuck it, I am. Yeah, you can now tell a Behemoth into another. So, back to forward, Behemoth launches the opponent directly up, so probably better for combo. Down to up from the left, added a frontal hitbox, so not a good move. Back to forward, change the blowback, sending your opponent forward, so less combo from it, probably because you can now combo it into other Behemoths. Move the hitbox, so it's probably easier to interrupt. Down, up to down from the left, change the horizontal blowback, remove ground bounce. Up to down from the right, oh no, vice versa, I mixed them up, sorry guys. Yeah, no, I don't want to go over all these Behemoths. Down to forward from, back to forward from down, added ground bounce effect. Down to up from left, aerial, aerial, aerial. All the aerials are going to be increased recovery. Increased recovery on all the aerial Behemoths. Thunderbird, adjusted the timing with this. security level depletes to happen later. So because the security level depletes later, the security level penalty will be active for longer. Skyfish, just as a fire repeatedly when they hit with a hell. It seems that you'll be able to either tap Skyfish to spend no meter or hold Skyfish to spend all your meter. Burn it down, adjusted the timing when the security level depletes to happen later once again. Because this happens later, it will be in the penalty for longer. That's pretty much it. Interesting changes. I'm glad that my kind of theory about the Roman cancel change and having the decision making to stay above 50% tends to be kind of cool, but they only decided to add it to Goldlewis. It'd be kind of cool if they did it to all of them in this future though. Alright. Decreased defense, decreased risk defense, and made the risk level charge more when blocking, so Jackal's gonna have much more defense. Forward B, increased recovery, crouching heavy, increased damage, weak, a blowback adjustment, increased horizontal blowback so you probably get less reward of it. And serve and shoot all version can now be dash cancelled. So if you come into contact with a servant, so if you hit a servant, you get dash cancelled, which is nice. It's going to be a green dash cancel that can't be cancelled into special move. So it's no longer a dash cancel that you can cover, but still it means so you can hit a minion and you can keep going forward, you can run after your minion. Alright, Happy Chaos. What are the changes for Happy Chaos? Increased defense, decreased gust, dust attack, added forward momentum during the recovery, so probably easier to punish, but once again because of Gun Truth, that might mean he ends up closer to you after this attack. Sweep, increased launch height, okay, so better combo from it. Probably to fight the big gravity scaling he gets because of how long his combos are. Jumping down kick, the opponent will now be blown to the front even if they are behind Happy Chaos. So he will always go same side even if the Happy Chaos crosses up, which will mean so that in the corner, he can keep you in the corner even if he crosses you up. Increased damage on the shot, and the clone no longer negates the opponent's strike's collision. Okay. Scapegoat no longer withstands an attack from the opponent. When Chaos and the Scapegoat are in the same position and the opponent attack, the attack will hit Happy Chaos as well. Finally! It used to be so messed up. Some characters straight up didn't have a way to deal with Scapegoat, which is really nice. Now your Happy Chaos can no longer just sit behind Scapegoat at point blank. He has to actually back up. That's nice. Baiken changes. Let's go. Decreased defense, dash, increased movement speed, 6 speed increased recovery, far slash decreased knockback, heavy slash removed wallbacks effect, crouching heavy, decreased horizontal blowback, probably better in combo, 6H increased damage, jump D increased damage, Cabaret increased the vacuum on the tether, Yozansen added vacuum effect when connecting with an opponent during the latter half, so if you hit probably with the backwards hit, like the second hitbox, you kind of vacuum your opponent, which is nice. So used as an air approach is going to be nice, but used as an instant overhead, the reward is going to be similar. So the parry can now no longer be cancelled in super, which is the universal change to auto reversal. But now you can activate it in Blockstone, which is the parry from Exard pretty much. The auto guard from Exard, and now it will always give you partial parry, but this partial parry can be cancelled into an attack, or cancelled into that, which is really cool. And the projectile super just fixed an issue that made it so the clean hit didn't work properly under certain conditions. So this is awesome. Like, this is probably the change Baiken needed. This will make her so much of a threat. You'll have to think constantly. You can no longer just go for a gapless pressure and just be immune to parry. You'll have to constantly be thinking about her parry and go for staggered pressure more, and go for strike throw more, and because yeah, that's gonna be awesome. That's gonna be super cool. Okay, this event, pretty small change. Grim Reaper deals more damage when hit at point blank when you hit with a weapon. Increased damage on 6H, increased recovery on 6B, decreased defense, and now the throw triggers the stain, and the throw also stops the countdown for the stain so that you don't lose stain mid-throw, right? If you get a throw and the stain is up, you'll always get the follow-up. Okay, good changes overall, but pretty significant. I don't think this event is going to go that far up. This event is still in a kind of poop position because zoners zone better and it doesn't have the most damage. But the 6B, 6B nerf is crazy. 6B Testament needs a good 6B. And 6H, yeah, sure. 6H is nice, but that's it. We need more. Okay, Bridget. Rolling movement can now be cancelled into hook. That's it. 6B increased recovery, increased defense, but increased guts. Close slash, gonna have blown to the front, even if they are behind, which is okay. What the hell? What the heck? Weird change. Jumping heavy, people can all be blown to the front even if they are behind, which is weird. Good. Starship, which is a DP, can no longer cancel into super. Loop the loop, increased damage of others' attack, excluding the final hit. Okay, sure. Alright, what did they do to Sin? Increased defense, increased guts, increased recovery on 6B, increased recovery on 5 slash, increased startup on crouching slash. Stamina, increased cooldown time, standardized recovery speed regardless of current stamina. Okay, sure. Beak driver follow-up, increased recovery, increased knockback, added a guard crush effect. So the beak driver follow-up guard crushes, increased horizontal movement speed, adjusted to maintain momentum and cancel. That's pretty crazy. The DP, the start of the attack can only be cancelled into super, once getting universal change. Heartbreaker follow-up, decreased recovery, increased damage, increased movement speed. Pop stuff, increased recovery. This decreases the backwards movement on hitting the corner, added a guard with effect on hood stomp, which is crazy. Elk Hunt can now be triggered from whenever, right? That's it? No, that's Kiske step. Elk Hunt, increased damage, decreased knockback, increased guard crush duration. Okay. Kiske step can now be performed individually, so if you just do circle back kick, you'll just do a Kiske step for 1 stamina. Rider Lightning now expands stamina when performed as a cancel out of his startup of his column. Okay. So if you cancel into RTL from a special move, it spreads the stamina, that's okay. RTL follow-up increases maximum guaranteed damage, so that's if you spend 100 meters. Once again, all of the 100 meter supers, or the supers with... Actually, it's the supers that either cost 100 meters, or those that don't, that sacrifice a wall break, increases minimum guaranteed damage. Turret Barrel, now it's expensive stamina when you cancel it on a special move, so you can still Kara, but it spreads the stamina, which is nice because, bro, Karaing into super used to be so cheap, it's still crazy. Clean hit probably, or just the follow-up increases damage, so probably this the fucking clean hit for more damage. Alright, Bedman chain. Increased damage, decreased defense, slightly shrunk lower hitbox on his 6B. Okay, more like slightly harder to low profile. Standing heavy, increased knockback. His projectile, increased damage of the Era 6E follow-up, increased damage while the install is active. The S, increased damage of the follow-up, increased damage when the install is active. The heavy. The Era 6E projectile now homes in towards the opponent's horizontal position, meaning you can jump over. When it's close to the opponent, it attacks the same position as previously. Yeah, pretty much obviously. So okay, at close range, you'll be able to kind of like maybe jump over. But at long range, you can't just air dash over. It will track you, kind of like how the projectile tracks you. The limitation to the omen distance in the attack will not reach if performed from too far away. Sure. When the Era 6E projectile activated midair, it now attacks at a lower position than previously. Okay. So if you are in the air, it attacks slightly below you so that you don't kind of waste it going super high in the air. And the install super has decreased recovery, so you can combo from it more consistent. Alright, cool. 6B degree increased recovery, super, decreased interval between hits, increased recovery, decreased hit stop, below. This reduces advantage and creates less distance from the opponent on block, which is nice. So it's no longer kind of this move that you can just throw out when you have 50 meters to just cycle all your calls and whatever. Bookmark, you can now swap spells during bookmark by going left or right to switch between like the previous spells or the next spellbook, which is nice. Recover mana, increased mana recovery rate, decreased effect duration, that's cool. Recover mana instantly, no longer discard bookmark spell, which is cool. Bookmark from the random import, now bookmark all spell slots, regardless of if you had a spell in the slot or not, which is awesome. Low pass filter gravity, which is the staff, wait, is it? Decreased altitude limit for an air dash while the effect is active. Yeah, it's the stat that decreases the gravity thing. This makes it easier to perform an air dash during the jumping. Delay the TARDIS Metron, which is I think the big massive thing. Horizontal move speed now increases while high pass gravity effect is active. Okay. Okay, sure. Aquila Metron. I don't know all the projectile by names. Increased attack star that now no longer be cancelled into overdrive. So that's the big DP thing, the thing that does big shift Metron, the move the spell effects that started at level 5. in place out of the spell version, and it starts at level 1. So that's the 5 projectile thing. And it's gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4 or 1, 3, 5, I'm not sure. RMS boost Metron. Decrease damage at level 1 and level 2, increase damage at level 3, level 4, and level 5. Decrease duration of Guard Crush. The Guard Crush duration extends corresponding on the number of spells activated. Cool. Alright, Johnny, pretty small changes because he got that kind of patch 3.5 change and he's already very strong. His Mist Miner now destroy projectiles. His Insignia deals more damage, 6 speed increase recovery, and decrease defense. Elphelt changes. She had changes as well, but they were kind of insignificant. So now she gets all of this. Increase active frames on 6p, increase damage on 6h, which is the big like combo thing. Bomb Chocolat. Decrease horizontal blowback, meaning combos will be bigger. Here I Go can now be dash cancelled on contact with the opponent. Okay, you can dash cancel her wreck. That's crazy. That's crazy, that's crazy. That's more follow-up, that's more like TLS version, that's cool. But once again, dash cancelling moves on reaction, they can be thrown, they can be mashed. Nailed it heavy during Chain Polybuff for the final hits to the Here I Go. Increase damage. Bombomoniere, which is the fucking frags she puts on you, will now trigger the wall break, but keep the bomb on you, so that after a wall break you can go for a mixed up. Wall Assault is now an orange Wall Assault or a red Wall Assault, and no longer a blue Wall Assault, probably because of the buff to Bombomoniere. A.B.A changes. The increased defense, dash, can now halt the momentum of her dash with back, which is nice because she has a non-conventional over dash, or a non-conventional run you could say. 6 speed increase recovery, 6 speed during Jealous Rage increase recovery. Seems every 6 minute game is getting slightly increased recovery. Tutor's Escape, which is the thing, increase recovery, decrease knockback, reduces long height after ground bounces of counter hit. The opponent no longer tech, but landing of counter hit. Vertical back S is an issue, critical stutter rolls to A.B.A is not invisible when with acidic attack, which is the parry, so just a bug fix. The DP during the install, or the blood gauge, or the jealousy mode, increase damage as the second hit. Change the damage take on the grounded hit for the first hit. Such remove a crouching heavy slash for stall. Okay, I'm not really sure what that means. Maybe you can cancel the first hit into something. The pushback only extends when the move connects with the opponent. Makes it easier to hit after pushing side with the opponent. Now as Kiki is King, Jealous Rage, so in Jealous Rage increases damage. The damage of the final hit increases corresponding with how much meter you spend on the super. Cool. We're nearing the end. A.B.A changes are nice. A.B.A changes. She has. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think she's still gonna be crazy. All right, Slayer. What do they do to Slayer? Pre-battle introduction. The Goldlewis voice line I mentioned previously. Decreased guts and defense, so Slayer's gonna die. Backdash is now faster. Backdash is now like more consistent. Before Slayer's backdash was very, very bad, and going into the Horde as follow-up of their backdash was very, very awkward. 6p increased recovery. 6k hold can now has now decreased recovery to go for like empty 6k to do a throw possibly. Far slash on aerial hit, it will like kind of drag your opponent back down to make combo routing more consistent. But the first hit will have a ground bound effect, so that if you hit Far Slash on an opponent that's kind of low to the ground, or such as an opponent who backdashes, the pull downward from the first hit won't destroy your combo, it will just ground bounce your opponent. So that's nice. Increased recovery on crouching heavy, so his 2H won't be as aggressive, which is nice. Increased active phase on John Dust, okay, sure. Increased recovery on Mappa Hunch, the Mappa Hunch, which is the fastest version, which is nice. It used to be only -1, meaning you could only go for like 2p at very close range depending on your character. So increased recovery, meaning you'll probably have to be more careful just throwing that out to skip neutral. Power Bunker deals more damage though, which is kind of crazy because Slayer damage used to be a big issue. Increased damage on Power Bunker while everyone is getting decreased defense modifier is going to be absolutely crazy. But his super is no longer invincible. His super is no longer invincible, but you can't throw him mid-super if he goes for it full screen. And increased input priority on his super. Well, yeah, that's it for the patch. That's it for the patch because we don't have anything when it comes to Dizzy. Thanks for watching, everyone. This was a pretty long video, and I ended up kind of accelerating throughout the end. But overall, I'm excited to see what's gonna happen. It seems that they want to kind of nerf 6Ps a little bit to make it maybe easier to approach from the air because 6Ps were kind of universally pretty strong. It seems also that decreased defense will mean Guilty Gear Strive is getting once again into a slightly higher damage game. And most characters are getting very, very cool stuff, a lot of new moves, a lot of new properties on their moves. So yeah, very excited to see where this goes. Everyone's gonna be kinda crazy if you ask me. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow probably. I might live stream day 1. I'm definitely gonna live stream day 1 actually, what the hell am I saying? So thanks for watching everyone, and have a good day everyone, and bye bye everyone, bye bye.